What's going on, people? Future real estate agents or people that just want to learn terminology about real estate, so when you buy your house or sell your house you can know more about it. All right, this is part 12 of the New Jersey real estate exam review study guide with me on Luis Valencia. This is part 12, vocabulary. All right, so last time we left off in the P's. I believe the last word was procuring course. Procuring course. If you guys like this video, if it helps you in any way, please feel free to subscribe so you could get a notification whenever I make a new video. And then if you like the video, if you press like on it, then it will help the algorithm to be able to share this with more people that are looking for the same interest or terminology for real estate. All right, so the next word is procuring costs. Procuring costs. All right, procuring costs is the broker responsible for bringing about a sale. Procuring costs is the broker responsible for bringing about a sale. All right, so let's say you're an agent, right? Or you're a broker agent. You already did 2 years of being under a broker, so now you have your own brokerage company, right? All right, you're a broker agent. Now, let's say you help this person that comes in your office. They're like, oh, I'm trying to sell my house, whatever. Like, okay, cool, I help you. And then they say, okay, you have like a termination, like a date to like make sure that you sell the house by this time. So let's say 3 months, 6 months, 1 month, 1 year, whatever the time is, the period that you choose. So let's say it's 3 months, right? So during those 3 months, let's say I show that house as a broker. You're like, damn, I showed this house to like 20 people. Nobody bought it. It was a bad season. Maybe the house was too expensive. Whatever reason, it didn't sell. And then the 30 days passed. So they're like, damn, after these 30 days, I guess the guy decides, you know what, I'm not going to work with you no more. I'm going to work with my friend. He has a brokerage company. So I'm going to let him sell the house for me. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. That's cool. Let me know for the next house, whatever. All right. So then he tries to sell the house with the other broker. He doesn't sell the house. 30 days, 60 days, a year passes. He still don't sell the house. Then all of a sudden, somebody calls the dude that sold the house like 1 year later, and it's like, oh, listen, your company, like let's say the company's name, the original was LV brokerage or whatever, right? So the guy's like, oh yeah, LV brokerage showed me the house last year, but I wanted to talk to you to see if you still have it for sale. And then he's like, yeah, I still have it for sale, but now I'm working with this other broker. It's like, okay, cool. He's still working with his other broker friend, right? But he decides to buy the house, even though he buys the house through the other guy's brokerage. The original brokerage that introduced the client to the guy that's selling the house decides to buy the house. Since I was the one that introduced them to the brokerage company, then I would be considered the procuring cause. I was the cause of that sale because I was the one that showed him the house, told him everything about it. At that moment, he decided not to buy the house, but then a year later, he decided to buy it when he was already working with another broker. Right? So then, for considering that I'm a procuring cause, then you're entitled to a benefit from like the whatever money you get, like an appreciation, something for it. All right. So you would be considered the procuring cause. So basically, another example could be, let's say there's a brokerage company that he's working with a guy. He worked with him for like three or six. They worked for like 6 months, and then he stopped working with the guy. He wasn't able to sell the house for whatever reason. The guy, he moved to Florida. I don't know. He doesn't live here in Jersey no more, so he moved to Florida. So then he hires me to be his broker to try to sell this house. Now, one of the people that he helped sell, or that he showed the house to during that time, before I took over the guy as a principal or a client. Before that time, one of the people that he showed the apartment to, he came back to the house saying, "Oh, I have the money now. I have the down payment now. Now I could come up with the money." But now I'm his broker. The other broker, he's in Florida somewhere. By law, he's still a procuring cost. So the right thing to do is to contact the original broker and make sure he gets his, you know what I mean, like his piece, you know what I mean, whatever is considered fair, you know, for bringing the client and showing the client and preparing the client. Because maybe without knowing, he prepared the client. He was the one that put it in the client's head, into the customer's head, to start saving money, start fixing your credit. And then 6 months later, I reaped the benefits of it. But you know what I mean? And if you want to run a good business, then the right thing would be to work with that broker as well. Call them in Florida, be like, "Oh, hey, we're buying this house thanks to you. So like, let's work together, man." You know? So that's what a procuring course is. All right. Okay. The next word is property manager. Property manager. Okay, a property manager is someone who manages real estate for another person for compensation. Property manager, someone who manages a real estate for another person for compensation. All right. Property manager. Someone who manages a real estate for another person for compensation. Maybe he'd be the person that picks up the rent, calls the handy person when the toilet clogs, you know what I mean? Or there was this light outage. So basically that person that's in charge of that. All right. The next word is proprietary lease. Proprietary lease. Proprietary lease is a written lease in a cooperative apartment building held by the tenant shareholder, giving the right to occupy a particular unit. A written lease in a corporation apartment building held by the tenant shareholder, giving the right to occupy a particular unit. A written lease in a cooperative apartment building held by a tenant or shareholder, giving the right to occupy a particular unit. A proprietary lease. Because a cooperative is considered more of like a stock. It's not considered so much more. It's not like a condo or like a house, or like you buying an apartment. A cooperative is considered like it's considered like a stock, and you're basically like using like a proprietary lease to live in the unit wherever you chose to be at. Okay, the next word is prorations. Prorations. All right, prorations. These are expenses either paid or paid in arrears that are divided or distributed between buyer and seller at the closing. Expenses prorations are either expenses either paid or paid in arrears that are divided or distributed between the buyer and the seller at closing. Prorations. So prorations could be, it could be like, let's say you bought the house in June and you closed the house in June, but you already paid the taxes for like until the next quarter. You paid the taxes already. So the prorations will be the difference of the amount that will be owed to you if you divide it by the months, you know? That will be considered a proration, or something you already paid for. Let's say you already paid for gardening for 1 year ahead of time, or you paid for an exterminator, for like the exterminator for the roaches and stuff, like a 1 year contract and you already paid it ahead of time, that could be given back to the person that sold the house because you already paid ahead of time. That could be considered a proration. Okay. Yeah. The next word is prospectus. Prospectus. This is a printed statement disclosing all material aspects of a real estate project. Prospectus, a printed statement disclosing all material aspects of a real estate project. Prospectus, a printed statement disclosing all material aspects of a real estate project. That's a prospectus. All right, the next word is protected class. Protected class. This is a specific group that must receive equal treatment in housing. Protected class, a specific group that must receive equal treatment in housing. So a protected class could be, handicapped people could be a protected class. A specific groups that must receive equal treatment in housing. Like just because they're handicapped doesn't mean that they don't have money to pay for the mortgage or the rent, so they can't be discriminated that way because they might receive a grant or an insurance or some type of payment to pay, even though they might look like they don't work. Maybe they work from home. You don't know, so you can't discriminate them. Okay, the next word is public records. Public records. Okay, this is a county's collection of documents relating to a real estate. Public records are a county's collection of documents relating to a real estate. So let's say you're trying to get a house for cheap, and you're trying to figure out like the the people that went on foreclosure. So maybe you want to offer them like to buy their house, so you could help them out some way somehow, and then they could get out of the house if they want to get out of the house. So you could talk to them directly. You could go to county court and ask for the public records because they're public records. They're for the public, and then maybe you could be able to buy a house like that. Public records. Okay, the next word is puffing. Puffing. Puffing means in real estate is when people exaggerate or superlative comments or opinions made to induct buyers to buy, not as representations of fact, thus not grounds of misrepresentation. So the puffing is basically exaggerating, like saying like this house has the best lawn in the world. It has the greenest lawn in the world. It's the greenest. I swear. That's puffing. Alright. So the next word is pour a true view. Pour a true view. P-U-R and then Outreview. A-U-T-R-E-V-I-E. Pour a true view. For the life of another. A life estate. Pour a true view is a life estate that is measured by the life of a person other than the life tenant. For the life of another. A life state per a true view is a life state that is measured by the life of a person other than the life tenant. So it could be like a condition in a contract saying that the person could be the owner of the state as long as another person is alive. That's what I understand it by. You could check that one. Pour a true view. Okay. Alright. The next word is purchase money mortgage. Purchase money mortgage. This is a note secured by a mortgage given by a buyer as mortgager to a seller as a mortgagee. Also, any mortgage for purchase rather than refinancing. Any mortgage for purchase rather than refinancing. Purchase money purchase money mortgage. A note secured by a mortgage given by a buyer as a mortgagor to a seller as a mortgagee. Also, any mortgage for purchase rather than refinancing. Purchase money mortgage. A note secured by a mortgage given by a buyer as a mortgagor to a seller as a mortgagee. Okay, so we are finished with the letter P's. And the next letter is Q. Q. Okay, so Q will be qualifying ratio. Qualifying ratio. Okay, this is the percentage of income a borrower is allowed to spend on mortgage payments. Qualifying ratio. The percentage of income a borrower is allowed to spend on mortgage payments. Qualifying ratio. A percentage of income a borrower is allowed to spend on a mortgage payment. So basically, before you get a loan for a home, you need to qualify, right? So I forget exactly how much is the amount, but there's a certain percentage that generally they use to consider somebody to give them a loan, right? So if they make a certain amount, they have to spend only this much amount just on rent. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's 30% or 40%. I forget exactly how much it is. But that's something that most real estate people that are already working on the field and have experience, they would know that like right away. Like, what's the percentage that I would have to have on the side after paying all my bills? You know what I mean? Like, if I make, let's say, $4,000 a month, that the mortgage should only be $1,000. That would be like 25%, right? So that's the qualifying ratio. Percentage of income a borrower is allowed to spend on mortgage payments. Okay. The next word is quiet enjoyment. Quiet enjoyment. This is the right of an owner or a person legally in possession to the use of property without interference of possession. The right of an owner or a person legally in possession to use of property without interference of possession. This is called quiet enjoyment. The right of an owner or a person legally in possession to the use of the property without interference of possession. That is called quiet enjoyment. Okay, the next word is quit claim deed. Quit claim deed. Quit claim deed. This is a conveyance. This is a conveyance by which the grantor transfers whatever interest he or she has in the real estate, if any, without warranties or obligations. This is a conveyance by which the grantor transfers whatever interest he or she has in the real estate, if any, without warranties or obligations. Quit claim deed. I believe this is the one they use when somebody like gets divorced and they just like they just want to give the deed out. They don't want to deal with it. So they might give away the quit claim deed. So it's like a fast way of doing it. Quit claim deed. So they quit to claim it. All right. The next word is radon. Radon. This is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that is suspected of causing lung cancer. Radon. Radon is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that is suspected of causing lung cancer. So radon might be in houses that are built before a certain time. So what they do is like, if the house is built before the time where they likely had radon, then they would then when you sell the house, you would have to write a disclosure saying there's a possibility that the house might or might not have radon. So it's like a disclosure. All right. Of the let me turn the lights went out. Okay. The next word is rate lock. Rate lock. Okay, this is a guarantee by the lender to issue the loan at the quoted interest rate. Under some conditions, the rate can still change, but likely will be a rate